This video is going to be slightly different to the other ones on the channel because we're going to be breaking down how you can apply the learnings from software as a service businesses that build and sell for millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, how you can apply those same learnings for customer retention to e-commerce. I'm going to be taking you through each principle that SaaS companies use to retain their customers and build more customer lifetime value, and exactly how you can apply it to your business today. Before we dive in, just want to show you some proof that I'm qualified to speak on the topic of retention marketing. A quick refresh here on Klaviyo for one of our clients. You can see just last month alone in July, time recording this is August, so last month, $324,000 generated just from Klaviyo. Now, we help e-commerce brands scale. One way in which we do that is we do done-for-you retention marketing, email and SMS, but we also focus on the wider retention marketing strategy and understanding the customer life cycle. And in this video, we're going to cover a lot of those learnings. So, SaaS companies are obsessed with retention, onboarding, and lifetime value, and those same tactics can transform how you sell physical products. So there's a total of 5 different principles that we're going to cover in today's video. Let's get right into them. Number 1, onboarding as a revenue multiplier. Now, what does this mean? Well, in SaaS, the onboarding phase is mission critical. If a user doesn't, quote unquote, activate quickly, which means experience their first win in a short amount of time, they churn, right? That is something that's well known in the SaaS world. But how do you actually apply that to e-commerce? Because that sounds, okay, it makes sense and it's actually smart. Like, let's get them a win as soon as we can. But what most e-commerce brands, they don't think about it that way. So what you want to do is you want to treat the first 14 to 30 days after a purchase as your activation window. And your goal during this time is to get the customer to use, love, and integrate the product into their life. So how do you structure this as actionable tactics, right? What can you actually do today? So your post-purchase email flow. Day 0, you get the order confirmation and a personal thank you from the founder. You might already have this, right? So great. Then day 3, you have a getting started video or guide showing exactly how to use the product for best results. And this is even before they've received the product, which means they start to get excited about the product coming and how they're going to start to envision themselves using the product. Quick caveat for this email, you want to add an update about you're processing the order might have already been shipped, whatever. Something along those lines to avoid them responding and creating more tickets for your customer service, asking, where's my order? Day 7, you want to share an unexpected pro tips or hacks to get more value. Day 14, at this point, they already have the product, depending on what you're selling, of course. And you might want to extend these timelines if if you know that your shipping times are longer, depending on what you're selling. But day 14, you invite them to some sort of community, right? Now, this is like maybe more for a separate video, but creating a community on something like a Facebook group, Discord, even a school community, circle, whatever it is, just some sort of private members area that makes it exclusive and you have this community mindset built in. That's going to tie in more brand connection and more emotional connection, because the people in the group should be posting about the brand, they should be posting results. If your product has some sort of transformation baked into it, then it's a perfect place to do it. Day 21, request a review with easy link and incentive. You might already have this in place as well. And then we have the onboarding gift/surprise, and this is including a freebie or insert into their first order. It mirrors the SaaS setup bonus. So you want to create these small client delight moments, these customer delight moments that are unexpected. What it's going to do is it's going to make your unboxing experience and your first order experience much more memorable for the customer because they receive something free. It could be a free gift, it could be a handwritten note, whatever it is. And usage nudges, so you have retargeting ads showing creative use cases or UGC of products in action. Now this is helping to build retention into the business model, right? Because these customers are going to come back, buy other products, or maybe they can replenish and buy the same product if you have a consumable. And that's where the retargeting ads really come into play. So that is onboarding as a revenue multiplier. And that's how you can see there's multiple moments along that initial customer journey where you can add in some revenue multipliers, bake in some retention during those first moments where you have the customer's attention as well. The second principle is LTV obsession over one-time sales. LTV meaning customer lifetime value. So the SaaS mindset is that they live and die on the LTV to CAC ratio. The first payment rarely covers acquisition. It's the long-term value that matters. And this is the SaaS model, because with SaaS, you're getting someone into a recurring subscription. So what they can do is they can see, okay, 3 months down the line, the customer is going to be worth X, 6 months down the line, they're going to be worth Y. That is a customer lifetime value at different time frames. And if you know that, okay, if we acquire a customer today, based on the upsells, based on a subscription program, whatever it is, the lifetime value of that customer in 3 months is going to be this much, then you can create an LTV to CAC ratio. And the bare minimum that should be is a 3-to-1, okay? Now, if it's not 3-to-1, you can think about extending that to, a 6-month LTV number. Just be careful because it will take 6 months to realize that value, right? And you have to play with cash flow to make sure that you receive the value in enough time, but you can remain cash flow positive, okay? So just things to play with there, but the LTV to CAC ratio is extremely, extremely important. So how do you actually apply this to e-commerce? Well, you think in purchase cycles, not in individual orders. So you build acquisition with a plan to monetize over months, not just days. So what are the tactics from this learning? Well, first thing, subscription models, right? Very obvious. For consumables, you've sent coffee, skincare, supplements, you make a subscribe and save the default choice. Okay, you funnel people into that subscribe and save. We have clients where, we optimize a subscribe and save offer so that 70% of people on their first purchase are going into the subscribe and save program instead of the one-time option. Okay, now of course that's very high, but you can achieve those numbers if you really optimize and you really make the subscribe and save offer so much better than the one-time. Okay, if it's not so much better, you might experience more like 50-50. Even like 40-60, like 40% go into subscribe and save. But then the idea is you convert as many people, as many one-time customers into subscription customers after the purchase, right? So it could be post-purchase upsell. It could be after they've tried the product and you have specific email flows. You have someone who calls up the customer and tries to sell them on that. Those are just different ways you can do that. And within the subscription offer, you can offer bonus content. So free samples or VIP perks to subscribers. There's multiple ways that you can increase the value of the subscribe and save program, which we can break down in detail in a separate video if that's something you're interested in. Comment down below and we'll be sure to do that. Next thing we have is second purchase automation. So this is a triggered email or SMS that goes out 14 to 21 days post-purchase with a relevant cross-sell. An example is, you loved X, now pair it with Y for better results. And you're using, the classic upsell is, you need Y now that you have X, right? So now that you have this product, you can get this product to make it even better. It's the common would you like fries with that, right? Like, of course you want fries with that because it complements what you already have. You already bought the burger, of course you want fries. Okay, then you want Coke, right? Like it's the classic upsell, right? And that is, you can apply that exactly to e-commerce as well. Next we have VIP or loyalty program. So you can create a program which gives your customers reward points for certain actions they take beyond purchases, such as leaving a review, submitting a referral, sharing your brand on social. You can create some gamification by using tiers such as bronze, silver, gold, and also LTV tracking. So you implement a cohort analysis to see which acquisition channels produce highest lifetime value customers, and you want to double down there, okay? So those are just some action steps you can take from this second lesson. Now, moving into lesson number 3, feature release mindset for product drops. So the SaaS mindset is, the SaaS teams, they build hype around feature rollouts. They have teasers, waitlists, live demos to re-engage existing users and also attract new ones. So the easy, most common way to apply this to e-commerce is you treat new product launches like SaaS feature updates. So you create a moment to remarket to your entire list and also bring old customers back whenever you launch something new. It could be a new and improved version of your product. It could be a new flavor, a new product category altogether. Whatever it is, use those moments to make the most out of them. And here's how you do it on an actionable level. Pre-launch teasers. So 7 to 14 days before you launch something, you tease the benefits without revealing the product. You also want to build a wait list, and that is going to give you a sense of demand, but it's also going to make your offer seem more scarce, right? Because there's a wait list and there's also limited quantity, then there's not many units available and it makes someone want it more, okay? Early access windows, you let subscribers or past customers buy 24 to 48 hours early. It's a perk for being a subscriber. Just something else you can bake into your subscription program. And you can also give them an exclusive discount or bonuses for being an existing customer, right? To reward their loyalty. Just make sure if you're going to do that, make sure that you make it clear that this bonus, this discount is for a reward to your loyalty, as a thank you for being an existing customer. Thank you for your support. As a valued subscriber, this is a subscriber only discount, right? Whatever it is, make sure you word that so that you get the most out of it, because that's it's gonna play into the identity of your subscription customers that reinforces why they made a good decision to be a subscriber. And then you want to have a launch content plan. So you just want to have the emails that you're going to be sending out, plan those out. Email 1, 2, 3, however many emails you're going to send out, just make sure those are planned out in advance so you have the sequence and also the timing nailed down, okay? Reactivation plays is you can run paid ads targeting lapsed customers with something new just dropped to try and get those customers to come back if they're not seeing your emails or if they're just no longer on your email list. Principle number 4 is churn prevention equals retention boost. Now, what does this mean? Well, SaaS companies actively monitor churn signals, logins dropping, usage decreasing, and then they run reactive campaigns before cancellation. And this is the key. Most e-commerce brands, if a subscriber is churning, they try to get them to come back at the last minute as they're canceling their subscription program. And at that point, you've usually already lost them, okay? So how can we decrease churn by doing certain things before the customer cancels and even thinks about canceling, okay? So what we can do is we can use predictive churn prevention, identify when customers are likely to lapse and intervene before they disappear. So the first thing you could do is purchase cycle mapping. Now, what this is about is it's about identifying average reorder time for your product. So you need data for this, right? You need to understand, okay, example, 30 days for supplements, 90 days for skincare. You need to know like the repeat purchase cycle. When do those repeat purchases usually happen if that is the case for your brand, right? If you don't have a repeat purchasable product, then when a customer is most likely to make their second purchase, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to trigger reminders before that purchase cycle window expires. Save the sale offers. So for subscribers who are about to cancel, you can offer 10% off the next 3 months, free product, or skip a month option. This is like a last chance, last ditch grab to try and get them to come back, okay? Personalize your activation, email subject, we save one just for you, name, and include relevant product the last bought plus updated offer, right? So this is a bit more relevancy, someone who's already lapsed to try and get them to come back, okay? Behavioral retargeting, again, if a lapsed customer visits the site but doesn't buy, you can serve them an ad only for our best customers with a specific incentive, okay? Again, personalization. And the more in tune you are with your customers and their behavior cycle, the more you can implement certain delight moments, right? You can reach out to them when you know the customers are most high likely to churn, contact them with something that's gonna delight them and is gonna shift their mind away from thinking about churning to how can I continue to use this product and bake this product into my daily routine, okay? Because a lot of the times when you're selling consumable products, it's, yes, the product has to work and it has to deliver on its promise. But the other challenge is how do you get a product baked into the daily habit or the daily ritual that someone has? When you can do that, the customer's not thinking about not buying that product anymore. It just becomes part of their day-to-day. Think about the toothpaste that you use. When was the last time you looked at your toothpaste and said, I think I need to buy a different brand? Rarely, right? Unless the toothpaste that you bought tasted very bad or whatever. So that's just an example of how you can bake retention into your customer journey to stop churn in the first place, right? Rather than waiting for churn to happen and try to save it, right? That's the real key here. The fifth principle is data-driven funnels, not just ads. So the SaaS mindset, every touch point in the funnel is tracked, analyzed, and optimized from ad click to product usage milestones. So in eCom, what usually happens is the tracking is great up until the customer buys, but then we kind of lose it from there, right? We don't really track the behavior of the customer that's happening after that. So you treat your customer journey as a sequence of micro conversions and test at each stage, right? So SaaS companies are very good at tracking all these different metrics and then running these micro tests at every stage to then increase conversion, but then also increase usage of the platform itself, which increases retention, okay? So what are the actionable tactics you can apply to eCom? Well, first of all, you want to break down tracking. You want to track metrics separately for PDP views, add to cart rates, checkout starts, and purchases. You want to run micro tests at each stage. So for the PDP, you could test the hero image, you could test the product title, the benefit bullets, etc. Within the cart, you can test urgency badges, shipping threshold reminders, and in the checkout, you can test express payment options, simplified fields, even testing shipping pricing. There's a lot of different things you can test. These are obviously just some examples to consider. Then you want to hold your ad spend steady until your leaks are patched, right? If the PDP to add to cart rate is below 5%, fix creative and offer before scaling ads. Now, I will say this metric right here is very dependent on what type of product you're selling. If you're selling a high-ticket product, we see that the conversion rate is lower than, if you're selling a product for $100. It's normal, right? This is just a rule of thumb and what we've seen across the board, that your PDP to ad cart rate should be higher than 5% in most cases. If you're selling something that's a bit more high ticket, then you could be looking at, all right, get it to at least 3% and you're good. But yeah, what you want to do is really want to understand what the benchmark is, what you should be aiming towards. And if there's high leakage, then don't scale your ads because a lot of that traffic is leaking out when you could plug those holes first and then scale, okay? You can get much more bang for your buck if you approach it that way. Finally, we have cohort segmentation. So you compare how Facebook versus Google acquired customers move through the funnel. Just as an example, right? Of course, you want to look at all your channels and then you want to scale the more efficient path. Now you might find that, for example, Facebook customers, it's more expensive to acquire them than Google customers, but your Facebook customers have a much higher lifetime value. So actually, over the course of 3 months, 6 months, our Facebook customers are much, much more profitable than our Google customers, okay? So those learnings and insights are going to be crucial to your new customer acquisition plan, right? Which is feeding your retention, okay? So these are just 5 principles. And just give you some rapid fire SaaS to D2C examples, like how does this transfer? So SaaS onboarding emails is the D2C post-purchase education flow. The SaaS churn prevention is the subscription pause/skip incentives. The SaaS feature launches is the product drop hype campaigns for e-commerce. The SaaS freemium model is the free sample with upsell to bundle for eCom. The SaaS customer success teams is the D2C VIP concierge chat for eCom. And the SaaS churn analytics is the predictive reorder reminders for eCom, right? So you can see how a lot of different things transfer. And something I like to do for the businesses that we work with and also with my team is understand what can we take from these other industries and apply to e-commerce, right? It's a blue ocean to red ocean strategy, right? It's a red ocean to blue ocean strategy, right? We're taking principles that are common in a industry like SaaS, where it's a red ocean. If you're not doing these, then it's hard to survive. So you need to do these table stakes. But in ecom, not a lot of these are being applied. So we can take those same principles and put them in the quote unquote blue ocean, which is ecom, for these specific principles. And what we're going to find is we're going to get great results from this. Now, are you going to get great results all the time? No, some things that work in other industries are not going to apply to ecom, but a lot of things will, okay? And this is how you get ahead of your competitors, because you start thinking outside the box. Your competitors are trying to just copy other ecom brands. And when you do that, everyone is doing the same thing. No one has any innovation, okay? You need to be looking at different industries to create that innovation, bring something new to your market that customers haven't experienced, so that customers remember you and your brand, and they become bought in to what you're doing, okay? And then you're gonna have customers for life. Those customers are gonna do word of mouth for you and be your sales team for free. And they're gonna bring more and more customers to your business, and you will grow as a result, okay? That's it for this video. Hopefully you like this one. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know down below in the comments and I'll be happy to do so. If you run an e-commerce brand, you're doing over 100K per month and you're looking for an agency to really grow your retention marketing program, your email, your SMS, your lifetime value, all those different things, apply what we spoke about in today's video as well, then in the video description, just below this video, the first link is onto my website. You can go ahead, you can book a call with me. It's completely free. We'll talk about your business, we'll talk about your retention marketing goals and see if we can actually help you. If we can't, I'll provide some insight as to what I'll do in your position. And if we can, then I'll talk about the details and we'll go from there. All right? That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video.